Imagine having a task sitting in front of you, something you've been avoiding for days, and instead of dreading it, you just start. No internal argument, no forcing yourself. You just begin like it was never a problem in the first place. Here's something almost nobody tells you. Procrastination isn't a laziness problem. It's an emotion problem wearing a productivity costume. And once you understand that one distinction, fixing it becomes almost unfairly simple. Today, I'll show you exactly how, and by the end, you're going to look at every task you've been avoiding completely differently. Let's begin. Rule number 1. Stop calling it laziness. Every time you avoid a task, your brain isn't rejecting the work itself. It's rejecting a feeling attached to the work. Boredom, anxiety, self-doubt, overwhelm. The task is just the trigger. The real thing you're avoiding is the emotion that shows up the moment you think about starting. This matters because you can't fix a labeling problem with discipline. If you keep calling it laziness, you'll keep reaching for willpower to fix it, and willpower was never the tool for an emotional problem. Once you correctly identify what you're actually avoiding, you stop fighting the wrong battle entirely. Rule number 2. Shrink the task until the resistance disappears. Most procrastination isn't really about the whole task. It's about the size of it sitting in your mind as one giant, undefined block. Write the report, clean the house, start the project. Your brain looks at that enormous, shapeless thing and immediately wants to escape. So shrink it until it's almost embarrassingly small. Not write the report. Just open the document. Not clean the house. Just pick up 5 things. The goal isn't to trick yourself. It's to make the entry point so small that avoiding it takes more mental effort than just doing it. Rule number 3. Remove the decision, not just the distraction. Every time you have to decide when to start, how to start, or whether you feel ready, yet you're burning mental energy that could have gone into actually starting. Decision fatigue is real, and procrastination thrives inside it. Pick the exact time you'll begin, in advance, the night before if possible, not sometime today, a specific time. When that moment arrives, you're not deciding whether to start anymore. You already decided. You're just following through on a choice your past self already made. Rule number 4. Use the 5-minute rule to bypass the resistance completely. Tell yourself you only have to work on it for 5 minutes, and then you're allowed to stop completely. No guilt, no catch, just 5 minutes. This works because the resistance you feel is almost always front-loaded, concentrated entirely at the beginning. Once you're actually in motion, continuing takes far less energy than starting did. Most of the time, you won't stop at 5 minutes. But even on the days you do, 5 minutes of progress beats another day of avoidance completely. Rule number 5. Make the task physically visible, not just mentally remembered. Tasks that live only in your head are incredibly easy to avoid because avoiding them costs nothing visible. Nothing changes. Nothing confronts you. Write it down somewhere you'll actually see it. Put the object related to the task somewhere impossible to ignore. The moment a task becomes physically present in your environment, avoiding it starts to cost something. A small flicker of friction every time you walk past it, and that friction quietly works in your favor. Rule number 6. Address the fear underneath, not just the task on top. A huge amount of procrastination is secretly about fear of doing the task badly, not the task itself. If part of you believes the outcome needs to be impressive, starting feels dangerous because starting risks producing something imperfect. Give yourself explicit permission to do a bad first draft. Not a good one. A deliberately rough, imperfect, embarrassing first attempt. The pressure to be good is often the exact thing keeping you from starting at all, and removing that pressure removes the fear hiding underneath the procrastination. Rule number 7. Reward starting, not just finishing. Most people only celebrate completion, which means every single task feels like a long stretch of nothing until the very end. Your brain has no reason to look forward to starting, because starting has never been reinforced as its own small win. The moment you begin, even for 5 minutes, acknowledge it. Let yourself feel that small hit of progress immediately. Over time, your brain starts associating starting itself with relief instead of dread, and that shift alone eliminates most of the resistance before it even builds. Rule number 8. Stop waiting to feel ready. This is the belief that quietly wrecks more people than anything else on this list. Motivation almost never arrives before action. It arrives after. You don't feel like starting, and then start, and then, a few minutes in, the motivation shows up, almost as a side effect of already being in motion. If you wait for the feeling first, you'll wait indefinitely, because the feeling was never going to come until you gave it a reason to. Here's the deeper truth underneath all of this. Procrastination was never really about time management. It's an emotional avoidance pattern, and once you see it that way, every failed productivity system in your past finally makes sense. You didn't need a better planner. You needed to understand what you were actually running from. The task was never really the enemy. The feeling attached to it was. Shrink the task, remove the decision, bypass the resistance for 5 minutes, and make room for an imperfect start, and the procrastination that felt permanent starts dissolving almost unfairly fast. If this helped you see procrastination differently, subscribe. We break down science-backed ideas into simple systems you can actually use. And before you go, tell me in the comments, what's the one task you've been avoiding the longest? You might inspire the next video.